superpower. The Real Raw offers us the chance to have a microphone and a stage, form ecosystems, make more money and less time with more magic, all with the use of the formula which Sean Callaghan curated for the past 23 years. Sean Callaghan is an entrepreneur, national speaker, philanthropist, one of America's top trial attorneys, and is the chief visionary officer of Unblinded. And though he is blind, he is here to unblind in integrity through micro distinctions, how we can all go from hello to yes in any role we play in life. And leaders can influence leaders and make the world a more heart-centered and amazing place.
And
welcome, everyone.
Hey, Lorelei, hello, and hello, everybody. The first person I'm working on blindly is myself. This is a formula, thank you for that, that applies to me just like everybody else, right? It's like, what is? So the things that work is because of the formula, things that don't, because of, and it's an awesome, amazing day. And Lorelei, how are you?
Fantastic.
Yes, and how are you on the left coast? So you're out in California, I'm here in New Jersey. How far are you from the ocean out there, Lorelei?
I am inland about 10 miles. Okay. So it's a beautiful day. We were in the 90s, crazy. It's going to heat up again, but now we're settled into 75, so we're not sweating it out so bad.
Well, we have some awesome folks here today. Let's get to it. In fact, there's another person that's like surrounded by water and it's like across the ocean from where I am. So like oceans are present today. So Lorelei, who we got?
Okay, well, first we have Michelle Reeves. Michelle Reeves is the director of This Is My Era Academy and is a certified life coach, business mentor, author, podcaster. And after 15 plus years of corporate experience, Michelle moved to China for 4 years where fertility treatment, postpartum depression, and therapy left her broken. So her personal journey from that point ultimately led her to begin her coaching business. Michelle wrote a book called The Happiness Habit Transformation. So welcome, so happy to have you.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, thanks. Nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, awesome. And Michelle, how about a fun fact? Like, what are you up to in the world? What might we not expect?
So a fun fact for me is that back before children entered my world, I almost rode my Japanese race import motorbike off a cliff in the Pyrenean Mountains in France, and it led to a marriage proposal.
That is,
I love it.
Top 5 fun facts ever on the Real Raw, right there. Drop the mic, Michelle. She's like, oh, I'm not sure. And then boom. And so, Michelle, where are you like physically in the world right now?
I'm in the UK. I'm about 30 minutes south of Cambridge.
Oh, we have a UK matchup today. Lorelei, that's what I'm hearing. So, Michelle, welcome. And
thank you.
Yeah, Lorelei.
Okay, so next we have the famous Peter Swain, who's actually really a comedian. And so Peter is the CEO of Magic on Tap, a digital agency that believes that clients shouldn't need to learn a new vocabulary in order to be successful online. He's founded 3 digital agencies and was one of the first web developers in Europe, dating back to before Internet Explorer was even in existence. Peter recently won the Business Mastery event for the 2nd time in a row. Are you kidding? Has completed over 1,000 digital projects and has worked with everyone from Avian to Apple and the Department of Defense to Breaking Bad. And I say Peter Swain is a Breaking Bad badass. Welcome, Peter.
Peter, what's up, brother?
How you doing, Sean? Thank you for having me. Thank you, Lorelei.
Magic on Tap, like Peter Swain, delivering magic, the Real Raw about more money and less time with more magic. Like there's something here, Peter. I feel there's something here. There's a connection and a synergy. How are you, brother? Really?
I don't know what you mean, Sean. It's almost like I've been mentored by this brilliant man who's been saying, Pete, access your fund. Would you give people some insights here? And then when I'm sitting down and going, what company should I put together to form off the back of that business mastery? And I'm like, hey, Magic on Tap, baby. I'll deliver it when you want it.
I love that. I love that, and congratulations. That is like world class. And how about a fun fact, Peter?
Well, I love Michelle's, but I'm going to have to pull out one of my big cards here. I was once arrested for attempted assassination of a member of the royal family of Dubai for handing him a burning bin.
I started laughing. So you're arrested for attempted murder of the royal family of Dubai. What was the second part?
I was actually arrested for the same guy 3 times, but the specific one was because I handed him a burning bin.
Because you handed him a burning bin.
As you do.
Do you want the 1 minute longer version of this?
We need the backstory.
Yes.
So I'll be as quick as I can. So it's the first Internet World Show in the Middle East. It's 1996. I'm wearing a maroon suit, and I think I'm like king of cock of the north, as we'd say in the UK. I've got it all, and they announced that one of the sheikhs is going to come and open this trade show. So everyone has to clear, and he's walking along, like shaking people's hands, skipped 1 or 2 stands, shaking somebody else's hand, and suddenly I get this dig in my ribs from one of the girls that are with me on the stand. They say, "Pete," and I'm like, "Not now. The sheikh's coming. I'll be with you in 5 minutes." I go, "Listen," and she does it again. I'm like, "Ellie, not now." And he's like 2 stands away, and she really digs me in the ribs. And I said, what is wrong? And she said, "The bin's on fire." I'm like, "Not what? Sorry, what? Shit." So I turn around, and the bin is indeed on fire, because it's the days when you could smoke indoors. So this bin is like flaming. So I pick up the bin, and I turn around, and he has skipped 3 stands and is standing in front of me. And I go, "Your Excellency," and for some reason I still haven't figured out, I hand him a burning bin, and 12 private security, ex-SAS, no matter who knows what, storm over him, and I've got these little red laser lights going like this on me, and this Scottish guy whispering in my ear saying, "I suggest you keep very still." I'm like, "Ah." So yeah.
Dude, you could have been easily shot. That's
Yeah,
great.
well, as I said, I actually got arrested for then drinking his whiskey in a private men's club accidentally 6 months later. And then about a year after that, standing on the back of his dish dash as he walked through a crowd, and he fell over and broke his nose. It just seemed like there was just this calamity. Whenever I was anywhere near him, like it just went horribly, horribly wrong. So yeah, 3 times as it happens, but that was the best one.
Peter Swain, ladies and gentlemen. That is amazing.
Stalker.
Yeah, because then it does give rise to the question of like, why were you around this dude 3 times? And that's its own question. But Lorelei, we have more incredible people. So welcome Peter and welcome Michelle.
So we have some amazing judges. So the first judge is Mike Millios. Mike Millios is the owner of Millios Law. And Mike served as an Army judge advocate for 8 years before opening his own practice in 2015. He is now motivated to bring mindfulness tools to people impacted by the legal system. So welcome here.
Mike, welcome, man. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what would you have done to try to get Peter off from like attempted murder of the like royal family?
I think we got to send him in for his mental competency here.
I am present for that, Mike. I am fully present for that. So, Mike, how about a fun fact?
I attempted gardening this year, and now I have like all this kale. So the fun fact is I'm learning how to make kale taste good.
Amazing.
Which has been in smoothies and in some stews. But otherwise, I just have a lot of it, and I've been giving it to my neighbors.
Do you make
I have a solution.
Do you make kale chips?
Yeah. If you get an air fryer and put them in the air fryer, amazing.
Oh yeah.
This is all good expertise right here.
There you go.
Amazing. And Mike, where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Awesome. Well, it is a pleasure, my friend, and great to reconnect because I think you were on the Real Raw Open at some point. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Lorelei.
So I'm so happy to have Melody Garcia here for her 3rd time. Melody is the founder of Luminary Coaching and Consulting, Life Unscripted, co-founder of Keynote Women USA Speakers, and also multiple award-winning international keynote speaker, best-selling author, and a powerhouse in multimedia icon with her own television show, podcast, and international magazine. Melody keynoted at Harvard University, United States of Women, London, Dubai, India, and more, and has shared the stage with some of the world's biggest game changers, such as Michelle Obama, Les Brown, Kim Kowalski, and she has also met some of the best world leaders such as the Dalai Lama, Princess of Monaco, and more. And it just goes on. And she is an incredible philanthropist and heart-centered, beautiful person. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back again.
Yes, Millie, that's like, again, like just
Again.
never, every time I hear it, like never endingly impressive. So yes, and how about a fun fact?
A fun fact, I just recently discovered that there's such a thing as boxing and salsa as a workout put together.
Boxing and salsa as a workout.
So, yes.
Please share.
Oh my God, I love
Well,
that.
one of my friends actually uploaded it that there are instructors out there now where you put on boxing gloves and you're doing, your little jabs and such, but it's salsa music. So then after a while of jabbing, then you stop and then switch instead of the typical footwork into salsa steps. So they've incorporated dance and boxing as a workout. It's a new trend.
Nothing short of extraordinary, Melody. I appreciate it. And the only thing that is more impressive than that, Melody, like in any athletic endeavor, is playing pickleball. But we'll get back to that in a second. I think we have one more guest. So, Melody, welcome.
I'm not using pickleball.
So
I think that's going to be a new sport of mine. I'm going to take it up, just saying.
yes. And I want to see you play Adam, Lorelei. So yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there another guest? I didn't know.
There is the one and only Adam Gugino. Adam is the Chief Revenue Officer of Unblinded, a mastery moneymaker for sure. Built a company from zero in a 400 square foot empty warehouse to a team of 500 that grew that company from 4 million to, are you kidding me, 750 million. Then walked away from millions to make Sean Callaghan's formula go global here at Unblinded.
Adam,
Welcome.
Adam, I love you. I love pickleball, and I am proud of you, brother. First and foremost for your pickleball, and second for taking a company from $4 to $750 million. How are you doing, Adam?
I am doing fantastic. This group today is just incredible. I'm so excited to be here, and I would not have been able to walk away from that organization, especially not millions of dollars, if it wasn't for the formula that you have created over the last 22 years, and for me seeing my future in it and my future in being able to convey it to the world, to make the world a better place. So thank you for that. And I have a new fun fact for sure.
A new fun fact is Adam Gugino.
Yes. So Peter, you definitely made me think of this one. I was 8 years old, and my aunt, Sean, I think I might have mentioned to you, she was blind. She really, I never thought of people that were blind, like having limitations from her. Because of her, she babysat for me. She was a huge Mets fan. I would go there by myself. And she was like the surrogate mother to me for many, many years. And one day I was, like any kid like to play with fire. I went and stuck a piece of paper on the stove. I was like, oh my God, I took it. I ran into the bathroom. I threw it in the garbage pail, and it went up in flames. And she smelled the smoke. She ran in, and she was like, oh my God, there's a fire. And she put it out. She helped me put it out. And she's like, oh, you know what? It must've been one of my cigarettes that I threw in there. She was a smoker. And I was 8 years old, and I let her take the blame for it. To this day, I do feel a little bit guilty. But now
I'm proud of your confession. Adam Gugino's confession.
I'm confessing to the world right now. So thank you so much. She was an incredible human being, one of the strongest women I've ever met. And so I just also wanted to, make sure that I reference that as well.
No, that is awesome. And I think this next gentleman could help us make something of like all this fire and violence and craziness. Lorelei, we have one more guest.
We do, and it's the fire of love. We have Anil Gupta, who is so much a part of the Unblinded family. So Anil overcame suicide in 2008 and has since then formulated the happiness formula. He has spoken on Fox News, Harvard Sky TV, TEDx, written a best-selling book, Immediate Happiness, and founded the Happiness Score. Anil has the Perfect Partner program, which truly helps remove the blockages that prevent people living fulfilled lives in just a matter of hours. And let me tell you, I've experienced his coaching and his magic, and I just love Anil. Welcome.
Anil, how are you, brother?
Yeah, I have a fun fact. This is a world announcement. I have just signed an agreement with Peter Swain to be an intern in the Magic and Comedy on Tap program. It's a world exclusive.
This fast breaking news, yes, in the Unblinded and other global ecosystems. So amazing. So Anil, how are you? And do you think it's a good idea that Peter handed that burning bin to royalty?
That's the only option he had.
I would agree. So Anil, welcome. And what is it like, just if you don't mind sharing, Anil, what is it that you're up to in the world? Like, I know that you care about relationships and people, but like, what's it all about?
I'm on a mission to move, touch, and inspire 1,000 million people by December 25, 2022.
1,000 million people on tap. It is on the Real Raw. We have winners of business mastery, best-selling authors, people that love pickleball and built $750 million companies, criminal defense for people that burn bins and other things. It is an amazing day here, Lorelei. Just another day at the office. That's all.
Just another day.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Lorelei. You are amazing. And I want to thank you for your super connectedness. You are amazing when you believe in people, places, things, of making incredible connections. And so thank you for your heart, your generosity, your selflessness, and your amazingness. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for having me here. Have a great time, everybody.
One last thing, right? This is like, we do want to honor people that support and help, right? But I mean this. Lorelei makes incredible jewelry, and I have now like patterns of thinking like happen, and I'm just like thinking of anybody in my life at a holiday, like my mom, her birthday just passed. Like, oh, Lorelei, thank you. My mom loved what Lorelei created. Is amazing. So any holiday, think Lorelei. So awesome job, Lorelei.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad your mom loved the necklace.
Loved it.
It means a lot.
So thank you. And have a beautiful day. And we are back to the business at hand. And the business at hand, I think these fine folks, at least Mr. Swain has a pretty good idea what's going on. So we're going to drop in. And this is how it works for everybody watching out there. This is to unlock the superpower of influence. Heart-centered, authentic, connective influence. It creates and destroys companies. And let's like digest that for a second. You know, there's people that have dreams and visions of affecting 1,000 million people. We affect 1,000 million people when we can influence people to influence people to influence people. So how do we have like a message in our heart and our head and get it out to that many people? Or how do we just take it and send it across the table, the phone, the Zoom screen? Because this is what creates the money, time, and magic in our life. And that is the mystery that we have fun laughing about, joking about, but also drop in decisively, heart-centeredly, and aspirationally here every day on the Real Raw. And this is definitely at least episode 125 and potentially more, but I'm going to officially, because I know it's at least 125, say, because we don't have the exact count, it is 125, and we'll begin counting up from here. And it's been incredible. And thank each of you for being here, for giving your time and your energy, right, and your wisdom to support people in unlocking their superpower, and all of us sharing it together. So that said, here's how it works. It's going to be a 6-minute conversation. By the way, Peter, are you down from the high of winning Business Master yet? I honestly want to know. I know you like have your like humility, sort of shieldy thing that comes up sometimes, but let's drop it in the heart. Like what's happening? How are you feeling post Business Mastery? It's now how many days later, and how are you feeling?
I don't know how many days later. It feels like 50 and 1 at the same time. Honestly, it hits me like every day, because I was just, and it's the reciprocity. I don't know the right word, my vocab's off, but it's the continual ripples that hit me. So today I was on a call, because you know you do these things, you get loads of calls scheduled, and I was on a call with somebody from our team that said, I run an outreach charity for women that have been abused and have gone through terrible times, and I would love for you to come on our monthly, show that's got hundreds of people. and tell them the message that you were telling us in our team room, because I found it so inspiring. I think they can take something away from it. And I'm not saying that from a place of boasting. It's a case of it hits you again, like what we did, of like, wow, like, you know, I kind of got over it, and then someone says, you were that inspirational, I need you to talk to these people. And you're like, wow, this is just ridiculous. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. So every time I think I've got it, like, tapered down, someone else says, and I'm like, oh yeah, we did, and yeah, I did, and yeah, 30 children, yeah, that's what we did, yeah. So yeah, it's amazing, Sean. It really is.
It is. And without influence as a superpower, it doesn't get unlocked, and that's what we're here to play with. So what's going to happen is that Peter and Michelle are going to look to go from hello to yes. And each of them, like you, like everybody, goes from hello to yes lots every day. And sometimes we don't get to yes. And if Peter doesn't get to hundreds of yeses and his team doesn't get to thousands of yeses, then there's nothing that happens at Business Mastery. And that will be just yet another example of how this all works. So Anil can be anybody that Peter or Michelle would like him to be. That will be a yes that would matter to them in the world. It could be an ideal client. It could be an ecosystem merger, sort of a cousin of a strategic alliance partner, right? It could be for a book deal. It could be to contribute to a charity. It could be to join a team, whatever matters to them. And the way it works is going to be a 6-minute conversation cut in half. So they're each going to go round one, and they're going to start sharing and opening and connecting. And then Anil's going to have to take a call in the middle. We'll have a quick break, and then he'll come back. They do not have to set up the second call, right? It's going to happen. And in the first round, what they're going to be being assessed on is going to be the openness of connection, like listening, opening, heart-centered connection showing up and putting something at stake, like listening, opening, heart-centered connection, putting something at stake, because we don't make decisions and say yes unless something's at stake, right? The second part we'll talk about. It's more where they talk about themselves and get to a yes. We'll come to that in a little bit. And Peter, since you have some familiarity, because I've been doing this a little bit, playing with it, how would you feel about going first?
No problem at all. Happy to do that if Michelle's happy with that, and you are.
Amazing. So who would you like Anil to be?
Well, I normally would say I think the person should be themselves, but I think that I know Anil too well, so I don't know if I think it'd be a weird example. So I think he should maybe be a guy that runs 50 chiropractic centers. But I'm happy however you want to play it.
No, I love it, brother. That's amazing. So Anil, you own 50 chiropractic centers. Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right. So Peter, you have 3 minutes. You'll hear a buzzer with a minute to go, 30 seconds to go, and time up. Peter, please take us in.
Hey Anil, it's Peter. We met last week. How you doing?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I remember you.
I was wondering, you remember me, I'm glad. Most people do. I was wondering.
It's your accent. It's your accent.
The accent or the size? They're the two things.
It's the accent. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's say that. Do you have a couple of minutes for me by any chance?
Of course.
Thank you. We spoke when we met, and obviously, you know, my business is in digital strategy. And one of the things that we do when I meet with somebody and they make an impact on me, like you did last time, is I ask my team just to do a very, very quick check on how they're looking online. Because it's one of those things, we've done this for so long, that if we see the symptoms, we kind of know the causes. We saw a couple of things that quite concerned us, to be honest. And I just wanted to explore that with you, understand where you've come from in terms of web and digital stuff, if this is where you want to be, if this is something that you would like to be working harder for you, et cetera, et cetera. Is that something that would be of interest?
You know, we spend over $30,000 a month on internet marketing, and I'm not convinced we're getting the best bang for our buck. Okay. So yeah, I would be very interested if you, I was concerned about your concern. What was your concern?
Well, the thing that bothered us most is the conversion rates. And I hate using techie words, so I apologize if I drop into that. The thing that bothers us is the conversion rate seems fairly static. And one of the things that we like to do is a continual optimization process. So we believe that a site should look at about a 73% increase every 3 months in what it's doing. And that's really just by sweating details and stuff that I honestly don't want to bore you with. That's the geek talk. So when we see a flat line, it normally means that you need some new energy.
That's pretty impressive. 73% every 3 months. We're getting nowhere near that.
Okay. Do you know what your conversion rate is at the moment at all?
No idea.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's where we'd start. So the basis of this, and I think what we would need to do is we need to structure a team. I'll give you a bit more information about this. We'll do an audit first, because the thing that we used to do, and like everybody does, we used to give a proposal, and that proposal, then let's be honest, we take a couple of hours putting that together in a sales room, and it's ill-founded in fact. So that's where I want to get to. But before I do that, just one question for me, because this is the most important thing for me, is when I go out to my team, how do I make this magical for you? What is it that you're looking to achieve in life?
Well, we're on a mission to impact the healthcare and how people show up in their health, in their families, because the spine is the center of health. It carries the beautiful cerebral fluid that nourishes every part of the body. It oxygenates you. So it's crucial that people realize that.
That's absolutely beautiful. Okay, I wanted to check because that's where I want my team to dial in and make sure that we're helping you take that message out to the world.
Brilliant. Love it. Thank you.
I know how busy you are. Let me leave you there if that's okay. I'm going to go and ask our team to start forming their thoughts. And we'll come back to you with a very highlight reel, and then we'll talk about how we might be able to help you with that if that's appropriate for you at the time.
Okay. How much is this going to cost me?
The highlight reel, absolutely nothing. The next call we have, you're not going to be paying anything before we talk. After that, we can talk about how we would put a framework around it. The best way to put it is we like to have a coffee before we ask you to get married. So it's not going to be anything that's going to surprise you.
Neil, Peter will be back in just a couple moments. So excellent job, Peter. Peter, how was that for you?
A lot easier when you're watching it than when you're doing it, isn't it? That's the interesting thing. But yeah, it was good. It was hard.
I don't like playing quarterback for the Jets.
Yeah, well,
but you're sitting on the couch at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was screaming at the Jets. Yeah, but why did you bring that up? I was happy until I remembered I supported the Jets. You tell it to me again. Yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't get into who I am because I think the fact that me and Neil know each other, we kind of skipped over that accidentally. But at the same time, if it's that compelling, I think I had him, I wanted him. But yeah.
All right. So Neil, what would you say is like one word and a number for connection? So one word and how the connection felt.
Yes,
one word
absolute certainty. I was very interested. 9.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, sir. Michelle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm doing great. Are you ready? And who would you like Anil to be if you are?
So I would like Anil to be a course creator.
Okay. Any particular type of course?
No, we can investigate that as we're chatting.
All right. 3 minutes and take us in, please.
So, hey, Anil, we met on the Real Raw last week, and it was such a pleasure to get to know you a little bit. And I know that you are a course creator and passionate about helping people to transform their lives. But I'd love to spend a little bit of time finding out more about what that means to you and the kind of courses that you are selling at the moment. And maybe we can have a conversation about how we can help you to broaden that audience.
Yeah, Michelle, it was my pleasure to meet you. And really, I want to create a digital online course, maybe a membership course, maybe a relationship course. I'm not sure really. What do you recommend would be the best option?
Well, what really I'm interested in finding out about is kind of how you are building that audience at the moment, and whether you'd be interested in maybe broadening that audience out into the US market. The reason that I'm bringing that up, and also I should just double check with you that you do have a little bit of time to just talk. This is not a bad time for you to talk right now.
No, I have time for you.
Great. So what we're doing here at the This Is My Era Academy is we are really passionate about moving from personal development to whole person development. And I know that you're all about creating transformations for the people that in your courses, and we certainly feel the same way. So I definitely feel that, you know, we have a connection there, and I appreciate the work that you're doing to help your course students. And what we're doing is we're creating a platform that brings subject matter experts such as yourself together to provide whole personal development based on the wheel of life. So that's just in a nutshell sort of what we're about. So we're absolutely trying to help bring together the different courses that can help people to reach their goals across all areas of their life. And I'd love to know whether you feel like that's something that could help you to broaden your audience. And if so, what areas you might be interested in contributing.
You know, I like the holistic approach. The mindfulness would be one absolute area, and the other one would be relationships. And I hope that you would bring in health, and even the financial literacy is something that's something that needs to be covered too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can actually tell you now, we already have course creators on board in some of those areas, which is amazing. What kind of would you be interested in a platform of that type? What kind of areas would you want to have some certainty on? Is there anything that you would like to ask me?
Well, you know, I have amazing content, but I really don't know what to do with it, or how to load it, and, you know, how to really present it in a way that would be conducive to people to get the best value from it.
I can totally see that. And I think what we're all about is taking your expertise and translating that into something that helps other people transform. So if I was to say to you that we could create a platform for you that allowed you to just work on your expertise and your content, remove any need for any technical expertise, and we would do the marketing and the outreach and the sales, would that be something that you might be interested in a further conversation about?
Actually, that's exactly what I need, because I'm not technically minded. I don't want to handle the digital side of things and marketing. I've just got all this amazing content. That's all I want to focus on.
And you got to grab a quick call, and you can bounce back into the moment, Michelle.
Great.
Okay, Michelle, how was that for you?
Really interesting. Yeah, it felt quite good. It was an interesting start to a conversation. You know, normally I would already have had a few conversations before I dive into asking somebody about that much detail. But yeah, no, it felt nice. We need to have another conversation, Anil. I like the idea of your course content.
That's awesome. Anil, one word and level of connection.
I would have preferred more rapport at the beginning rather than you speaking. So, hey, you know, just you know, how was the real raw for you? It was great seeing you, and let me sort of say something. I'd give 7 out of 10 for that.
All right, excellent. So let's drop in. Mike, we're going to give judges about 40 seconds of feedback with 5 seconds to go at 40. You hear the buzzer go. Let's try to please wrap it up there. I'll ask for a score, and maybe 15 to 20 seconds on what worked, 15 to 20 seconds on what can be optimized. And let's start, Mike, with Peter. What do you have for him?
Hey, good job, Peter. It's nice to connect with you. I like how you immediately opened up with Anil, and there was that connection. Really great hook. You know, you had Anil saying, "I'm interested in these concerns that you had." You know, that was good. The question, achieve in life, is a big one. I'm from a framework where I always like to have an idea of what the answer might be, but I liked it. It seemed to work for you. It seemed to, you had the rapport already with Neil. So I think it was a safe question, but I could see that question going a few different ways. But overall, really good job.
What'd you have for a score?
Let's go 8.
Excellent. And for Michelle, Mike.
Michelle, yes. Really nice intro. Yeah, I wanted to see you build a little bit more of the conversation with Neil. You checked on the time, and it kind of broke up the flow a little bit. But then you had a really good question that elicited a great concern of his that I thought was a good way to segue into your next conversation that you hope to have, and you were able to elicit a concern that he had about his ability to share his content. So I thought that was good, and yeah, you obviously feel very comfortable, I can tell, and you seem very sincere about it. So thank you.
So what'd you have for a score?
I'm gonna give it another 8.
All right, Mike.
Well,
Excellent.
yeah.
Cool. Thank you. So Melody, what'd you have for Peter?
All right, so Peter, I mean, again, excellent flow. I love how Anil just basically said, "I remember you," and there's just this connection instantly of just joking around, saying it must be the accent. Also, that he already immediately started voicing, Anil started voicing his concerns that he spends $30,000 monthly in marketing that goes nowhere, and you're taking mental notes of that. I like how you basically probably one of the kind of pauses that I took was when he said, "I really hate this geek language and this techie language," because especially if I mean, you have a comfort with Anil to any other audience, what if they are a love of geek, geek and tech, right? And that might put them off just because you're admitting it from coming from your own company. However, that comeback question of how do I make this magical for you? Open that natural flow of conversation. And yes, very general, what's your mission in life? Knowing somebody like Anil, you probably would have already had that. But other than that, I would give it actually an 8.5.
Very nice. And thank you, Melody. And for Michelle.
And for Michelle, the same feedback. There was a lot of what I call it almost like data dump, a lot of information without really building that rapport, initial contact at first. Also, just from a side note of Michelle coming from, I definitely feel we have a connection, but Anil's not responding to that connection yet. Right. So it was kind of like a one-sided relationship, as I call it. However, towards the end, when she started really focusing on what's in it for Anil versus a company of trying to sell the product, of saying, is this something that would broaden your, your purpose, basically, as far as what type of expertise can you bring? That's when he started warming up. And I love when he finally responded, that's exactly the problem that I have, is this tech stuff. And her strategically placing, well, then we're taking your expertise, we're removing your pain points from you, and we're going to do what we do to broaden exactly what your purpose is. So I actually give Michelle an 8 on that one.
Excellent. Great feedback, Mike and Melody. Thank you. Adam Gugino, I'm not sure which way to go. Pickleball genius or guy that managed like 50 million to 100 million phone calls a year. Maybe the guy that managed 50 million to 100 million phone calls a year. So we need to hear from. So what do you have for Peter Swain?
Yeah, let's stick with that one for credibility. So Peter, the certainty was there. Your stuff. There is no question you were able to hit a pain point. However, I mean, I don't want to say however, but you guys are both, these are two heart-centered individuals. And I don't feel we ever got out of the head and into the heart. I would have liked to have seen, especially in functional medicine, there's a strong why for most chiropractors and people in that space. And I would have really liked to tap into that earlier. I do like the question, the magical question kind of started to get us there. But yeah, I think if we could have got there sooner, we would have had more emotional rapport and we would have had a little bit of a higher score than an 8.0. But great job overall.
All right. Excellent. And for Michelle?
For Michelle. So Michelle came right out. I liked the way she set the agenda, and I was looking forward to some more questions. It sounded like she was going to ask a why are you doing this question, and then it, like a few of us had said already, it turned into more of a benefits, providing the benefits of what she can offer. She did expose one of the biggest challenges of Anil and got him opened up, but again, I don't think it ever really got to the heart. There was some acknowledgement. Her congruence was incredible. It's clear why, she's done all these amazing things. Her energy variance was great, but overall, I would say 8.0 as well.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge Michelle for outstanding energy variance. Peter for such absolute awesome certainty. I'm going to give a little bit of feedback after round 2, but let's just drop in. Michelle, we're going to pick it up in round 2. Where we left off, and the real assessment judges in the second round is how effectively these fine folks convey a little bit more about who they are, what they do, their heroic, unique identity, and deal with any objections and move forward to the yes. So Michelle, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, great job. Let's drop in. Ring, ring.
So, hey, Anil, how are you today?
Amazing. And yourself?
I'm really, really well. It was great chatting to you last time, and it's amazing to be able to chat to you again.
My pleasure.
So one of the things that we were talking about last time was your concern about the tech side. So I just wanted to pick that up for a second and just understand a little bit more from you about what those real concerns are about.
Really, I just don't like handling that sort of stuff. So what works best for me is to say, Anil, can you send us this, 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 and this? And I would happily do that.
Okay, so if I said to you, Anil, I would just like you to send me this content, this deliverable, this thing, and that's all that we need from you, would that be helpful?
As long as it's in small chunks. If you send me a long email with like 50 items, I'm not going to get it done. But if it's chunked down step by step, I would absolutely love that.
Okay, so small steps, chunked down step by step to make it easy for you.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Okay. What is it about course creation that is so important to you, Anil?
Well, you know, I've created courses in the past and they've never been successful. And I know that there's a formula. I just don't know the formula. And I'm not very detail orientated. I don't know about the funnels, the systems, the tripwires and all of that stuff. And I really don't want to do that.
And what is it specifically about the content that you're creating that really lights you up? What is it about working with your students that is your, your passion, I guess? What does this mean to you?
Well, you know, they get the most amazing breakthroughs in a very short period of time, and they don't have to be in pain and suffering any longer. And just in one sentence, in one paragraph, in one video, their life can completely change.
So what specific areas are most interesting to you right now to move forward on in your courses? Which areas light you up the most?
So give me some examples.
Yeah, for sure. So we were talking last time about mindfulness and relationships and health. I know that you were talking about those areas. If you were going to pick one of those areas that is most important for you, that you think you can provide the biggest transformation in, and that would light you up the most to create, what would you say that would be?
Oh, that absolutely relationships. The two most important things in life are relationships and health.
Okay, great. So if we were able to maybe work together to create a course on relationships and chunk down the deliverables nice and small for you and take away the pain point of tech and just allow you to provide your expertise to a brand new audience where we took care of the marketing and the sales, would that be something that would be interesting?
It would be more than interesting. I would absolutely love that.
Great. And maybe we can schedule another call next week where we can talk about the detail of that. Would you be open to that?
Absolutely. This is music to my ears.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's get that date in the diary. Can you give me some times that might work for you next week?
Sure. September the 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Excellent.
That sounds good. I'll put it in my diary. It was
Michelle.
really great to speak to you today.
No, my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, for you, Michelle.
That was much better, actually. It was great to lead with loads of questions and get a lot more information after the first call. I feel like I know a lot more about the passion behind Anil now, and we nailed down the course area that he wanted to cover and the things that I would need to do to make it a success for him.
Outstanding. Great job. Anil, in terms of seeing your future potentially in Michelle, like the rating for her congruent uniqueness and your curiosity, what rating?
9. Very good. I felt heard and I felt empathy too.
Awesome. All right. Peter, ready for round 2, brother?
Yeah.
All right. Take us in.
Hi, is that Anil?
Hey, Peter, I recognize the voice.
Again, hopefully we get to speak more than we have done in the past. You just got my proposal, I believe. I think you just opened it.
Yep, it looks interesting.
Yeah, and I think you can see from there the highlight reel. But I want to be honest with you, Anil, and say there are literally 50,000 companies around the world that can help you fix this. Right? The thing about tech is it's a democratized industry. There's literally dozens and dozens and dozens of companies that can help you do this. And to be honest, you already hired one of them, because I looked into the company that's done the work and they're not that bad. But one of the things I asked you at the end of the last call was, how do I make this magical for you? And the reason is I've spent 25 years in this industry, and I realized that we're becoming accountants and lawyers. And I've got nothing against accountants and lawyers, but to talk to accountants and lawyers, you have to understand their vocab. You have to be able to talk their language to get value from them. And that creates a block. It creates an impasse for creativity and mission. So you instead of actually enthusing on them what it is you want to do and what you love, you end up getting bogged down with CPAs, CPMs, ROASs, conversion rates, drop-off rates, attrition rates, and you go, oh, just do it and leave me alone. So I just wanted to take 2 minutes and tell you why this is important to me. I met the internet in the early 90s, and I didn't realize at the time, but it was because my dad had traveled a lot when I was a kid, and I only got to speak to him about once a week, and it cost £5 a minute to speak to him. And when I discovered the internet on a yellow pamphlet, a PC Byte thing at this trade show, because you got to remember the internet didn't exist, right? So I had to discover it like in the old-fashioned way. Looking back on it, that was the moment I realized this was a technology that allowed me to let anybody talk to anybody at the same time. And that to me was, I was all in from day one. I haven't done anything else in my entire professional career apart from that. And that's why I get passionate. And that's why I asked you what your mission is, because my goal in this is to help you get that out there. That's what I'm here to do. We can work with anybody. And in this industry, we will never be short of work, but it's making sure we're working for the right people. That's who we are. That's what we want to do.
Well, you know, that's my issue, in that there are 50,000 people out there. Who do I pick, and why do I pick them? How can I trust them? What do I need to look for? You know, what are the guarantees? It's hard. You know, this isn't my forte.
100%. So the way we approach it, if I can bridge that for you, is instead of asking us to get married, we ask you out for coffee. So we have a $2,500 fixed price, no matter how big or small you are. There's a digital audit that we put you through, and we give you an A to E grade in everything that you're doing. And we give you a blueprint on how to fix it. Now, obviously, we can do that for you if that's what you want, and that would be great. But the only thing we ask as a commitment from you is that you do it. Whether it's with us or somebody else, your mission is worthy of success. So take that blueprint, either do it with us or do it with somebody else. But it's designed to be an amount of money that if we aren't who we say we are, or we don't like each other, or we don't work well together, whatever goes wrong, it's not an amount that you're going to go for 30K a month as you are at the moment. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your opinion, where do you think we could get to in 3 or 6 months?
I think you could at least double where you're at the moment online.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome. All right. So Peter, how was that for you?
Good. I don't know if I can get all the way to a financial close on a 3 minute, but I think it moved it into the right direction. It was semi-deliberate to go for the I see things wrong and create the fear and then drop into the relationship on the second call instead of doing it the other way around. But yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Excellent.
I thought it was good. Well, I don't want to answer that because other people might say it was terrible, in which case I go, no, it's terrible. It's horrible. It's terrible.
Well, we're going to find out, brother. That's why we're here. So, what'd you have in terms of Peter's congruent uniqueness, your curiosity, seeing your future in him? What would you say? Number.
So when he asked me, you know, did you get the proposal? I wished he'd have said, what did you notice in it? What hit you? What stood out? And is there any clarification I can provide for you? And you know, I would have liked that.
Yeah.
Outstanding. All right, so let's drop in. Let's go with Melody first this time. Melody, what did you have for Michelle?
So Michelle definitely came stronger the second round, and love the fact that she really nailed in this word, what I call significance. Significance as in what was really important in Anil's mission, vision, plan, because even though he gave like 3 different answers, she even came back with, out of all of those, what is most important to you?
Mm.
Right. And then when she came and nailed that, so that was the heart-centered space right there, because it's out of this, which one would give you more significance, fulfillment in this, grand scheme of things. And he really bought into that, right? Because then the next thing is, it's literally basically what the feeling I was left with, it's a close for the following schedule that they had already set, because there was no objections that were present other than that final part of, of just nailing, whatever she had to close at that point. But I really love what are the areas most important to you? You mentioned relationship, but which, again, that word that we're all looking for, we all know the Tony Robbins language of what is the significance
Yeah,
of this.
excellent. And what'd you have for score, Melody?
I gave her a 9 on this.
Nice. And for Peter?
For Peter, love the personal story share of taking Anil back to your childhood. Again, going back into the focus of, hey, this might be my child, but this is my past. So I understand where you're coming from. And again, just actually resonating what Anil said, there's a very technical sales approach in the beginning. I was saying, did you get the contract where, let's sign up, kind of losing that flair from the first part, first call. So for that, I gave you an 8.
Okay, excellent work. And Mike, what did you have for, let's go first, Michelle.
Great job, Michelle. Love the questions that showed a sincere concern about Anil as a person and what you all were going to accomplish together. I got that vibe. He gave you some really sincere feedback. I would have loved like maybe one story or you could have shared with him that makes you unique. And it maybe would have had a little bit more of the exchange both ways. But yeah, really good. I went 8.5. And then Peter. Yeah, I loved the story to build up the question. At first I didn't really know where it was going, but when you shared your personal story, it was authentic. You told him the why you were there, and especially it's like, put the cast on blame the lawyers. Nobody wants to be associated with them. But that gave you, the charm and sincerity, and then you asked like that great build-up question. It was just like, why? How can I support you? How can we get there? And I think it flowed nicely. I thought your first call, yeah, it was charming, it was funny, but this one really connected more, so I gave you a 9.
Excellent. Adam Gugino, what did you have for Michelle?
So Michelle, yeah, I really have one word to just kick it off, because she even said how much more comfortable she felt this round, and that sequence. Energy variance, incredible. If that same exact call took place in the first 3 minutes, I think she would have accelerated much further in that relationship, and then been able to drop into like what makes her different, her heroic, unique identity, which came out in the first couple of 30 seconds. I would have preferred, it been at the end. But overall, if I was judging for that connection, it was there round 2 more than round 1. I got to give her an 8.9 because of her incredible energy and her energy and congruence.
Excellent. And for Peter Swain?
Peter dropped into his heart. The story was great. It clearly connected. He was still staying very professional, understanding the challenges in the industry. I thought that he could have had a more impactful, heroic, unique identity, really going into maybe stories around people that he's seen accelerate and grow through his services. I think that's key in that moment. And overall, I would give Peter a 8.5.
Excellent. All right. So great job, all. Peter, would it be okay if I drop in with you for a moment?
Of course it would.
Okay.
I love to be at Whipping Wood. Let's do it.
No, I'm gonna be Peter Swain.
Okay.
And remember for everybody that we often talk about this on the Real Raw every day, that micro distinctions lead to exponential differentials. So if you're in the US, if you're in the 95th percentile in income, you make $150,000 a year. In the 99th percentile, you make about 400,000. 99.9, 1.7 million, 99.99, 7.8 million, one more nine, 56 million. So those micro distinctions matter extraordinarily. So what gets the yes at the big meeting, what gets the yes on the big stage, what gets the yes with the person in front of you at a much higher percentage of time are micro distinctions that come in after you're already great at something after that, right? So Peter, through that prism, a couple quick thoughts. So I'll be Peter and you be, that person that owns 50 chiropractic practices. Sound good?
So I'm being Anil now, just to mess with my head. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Right? Okay, exactly. So we're having fun, and you could be Anil, the owner of chiropractic practices that doesn't actually own chiropractic practices. So like this is like the Matrix.
Role playing the role player, just to scramble it. Good. Skitoma alert.
Skitoma is everywhere. All right. So okay. So Anil, thank you so much for a couple minutes to chat. Appreciate it very much. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks very much. How about you?
I'm doing great. I know you only had 3 minutes, and my outcome is just to see if it would make sense to have a longer meeting, perhaps a 30-minute one. So I want to be brief, but I really appreciate the time. And I know you're in the space of chiropractic. I know these have been really complex times. How are all these practices being impacted by COVID?
It's interesting, Sean. Some of them are doing in some ways better, and some of them are doing worse. It seems to be a lot to do with the managers themselves as to how they're approaching it. I think a lot of the stuff I've learned in personal development over the years has helped there. So the people that are really owning it and embracing their inner hustle are doing great, to be honest, and the other people not so great.
Got it. And so for you, as you look at this horizon, like 50 practices, it's extraordinary. I mean, you have to be in the 0.001% of your profession. How did you do that?
Blind luck, hustle, and leveraging the bank.
Okay. Well, I think that humility is in the air, my friend, because I don't think it was just blind luck, just hustle and a bank. There were extraordinary things that you had to be doing to create that outcome. But thank you for your humility. Most importantly, why are you doing all this? Like, why not 5 practices? Why 50? And where does this all go from here?
It's a good question, Sean. I see the impact on our patients. I see people walking out. I see people walking in pain, and I see them walking out without pain. And it's a drug. So if you say to me that I'm only helping 1 million people, I'd like to ask where the other 5 million people are that we can help. And the impact on myself and my family, whatever kind of fades into importance next to achieving that outcome of helping people stay out of pain.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Received, because you have choices in life, I have choices in life. And what is critical for me in assessing whether to work with somebody or not, and that's presuming, of course, that I get the privilege of even a longer meeting with you, is heart-centeredness. And the impact you're having as a chiropractor resonates tremendously with my work in the world, because I want to be a force for good. And so is it okay if I drop in for 30 seconds on me, and then we'll kind of wrap it up?
Yeah, please. I mean, I know a bit about you from our kind of mutual connections, but hearing it from you would be good.
Yeah, so from the earliest of childhood, I realized that there was an extraordinary need for us to be able to communicate and get messaging out there. I went away to school. I didn't see my dad a ton. We spoke once a week. It was extraordinarily expensive. So connection and the receipt of truth and messaging, right, were critically important to me. And as I grew up, I realized that this crazy thing called the internet held the most incredible leverage and power of any technology that had ever been created before it. And I decided that I needed to master it. And I did. And the space, I've worked with some of the most extraordinary companies in the world, creating unbelievable outcomes, including realizing when for a major hamburger franchise, that I change the trajectory of everything that we're doing because of some fun micro distinctions that I was super able to pick up on. I'm like, I don't want to sell processed cheese to kids and poison them, right? And I'm not denigrating anybody's work, but that's how it felt for me. So my work in the world is to help businesses explosively grow. And it's not perfect because it takes a little bit of time. But I can assure you in a 30-minute conversation that I will give you the optics that will give you the certainty that us beginning to walk down this journey together will be right for you. And I get there's 50,000 companies out there, but this is a science. And in that space, I'm not great at a lot of things, but you're not going to find somebody who has deeper and more clear optics on how all of this works. So would it make sense like to talk for 30 minutes about this?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'd like to hear what you think we can do.
Yeah, and as a final to just think about for fun, and I say this again with great humility, but I just came off of winning two, not one, but two business masteries for a gentleman named Tony Robbins. You may have heard of him or not. He's one of the most successful personal development stages in the world. And this is incredible business competition, but for charity. And what it was all about was impact and saving children from sexual slavery. But the outcome of it was I realized truly that not only in the space of digital, but also in the space of leadership, there's incredible things to offer. And I think that might be just another key dynamic for your practice that I could be some support in because I want to build a lifelong relationship. So I look forward to a 30-minute meeting.
No, phenomenal, same here.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Peter, how'd that feel for you?
Yeah, if you can send me that script and I'll send you a whatever your consultancy rate check is, and that'd be great. Thanks very much.
Well, it happens to be recorded, so your investment of time and love and energy is present here. How was today for you, Peter?
I think, Sean, first of all, you are phenomenal at this, and I've watched you do this, I don't know, probably 100 times now, but receiving it is very, very different, and you go, wow, actually, yeah, you're right. Because the thing I do very well at is the call we just said and diving, all the feedback you all gave me is phenomenal. And what my mind was screaming at you all was 3 minutes. That was what my frame was like, if you give me an hour, and I now, because I'm accelerating, I don't have an hour. And that's been frustrating me over the last week. If you give me an hour, I can get there. And I can get to the right story and I can remember to give the right connection. It's when you do it in 3 minutes, having the 4 minutes to follow really, really helps get there a lot. Just what you just did, Sean. You just did what I try and do in an hour in 3 minutes.
Yeah. And so, brother, well, let me give you the back end. Here's the back end. You did it, which is listen. So here's our next call. And this is 30 seconds. So, Anil, this is very simple. With respect, you're going to have extraordinary gaps in what you're doing. I'm a second opinion. The fee for that second opinion is $2,500. But I can tell you that the return on that investment and the optics you will have will be extraordinary because there's so many suboptimal elements of what you're doing digitally, and you have 50 practices, right? So it's like, that's it, like optics, boom, done, because the value is going to be extraordinary with the magnitude of what's at stake. So I think that's the quick conversation on the back end of that. Make sense?
Absolutely, 100%.
Thank you. All right, Michelle, how was today for you?
It was amazing. It was a pleasure it's a pleasure to work with Anil. I absolutely enjoyed our time together. It's been great to connect with everyone. And Sean, watching you work, wow. I'm so glad this is recorded, guys. But Peter, great to hear you work as well. And I really appreciate all the feedback from everyone. So helpful.
Michelle, fantastic job. And thank you so much for being here. Mike, how was today for you?
It was great. It was nice to watch and listen to Michelle and Peter with a certain framework till we get started. It's like, these are the goals, this is the agenda. And just seeing how each of them use their own personality to deliver that heartfelt message. It was great. It was really nice to just be able to observe and listen.
Yeah, cool. And if some attorney was like, what is that thing, that raw thing? Like, do you think I should go on it? What would you share with them?
I'd say absolutely. When I train lawyers, I try to teach them how to listen. Listen first, then speak. So I think this has the dynamic of both.
Yeah, Very cool. Well, thank you, my friend. Melody, what say you? Thank you. And what say you? How was today?
Always love the organic exchanges that takes place, because yes, you give them an agenda, but guess what? Who they are emerges over the agenda, and then we get to see this dynamic exchange and relationship exchanges that takes place. Always love learning from subject matter experts coming from different industries, but inherently we're all after that one thing, which is impact with integrity, coming from a heart-centered leadership, at the end of that. So it's good to see leaders, leading and yet willing to take also the student of life approach by being open to learning.
Oh,
I always love these experiences.
thank you. Amazing. Anil, great job. And Anil, I think you have an offering for complimentary sessions that you might pop into the notes. Feel free to. And if not, Anil, how do people contact you?
Anil, you're muted, my friend.
Yeah, the best way to contact me is chatwithanil.com. I'll be happy to give you a free complimentary session and give you at least 3 major insights that will transform your relationships.
No,
absolutely my gift.
Awesome. Thank you, Anil. Brilliant job. Adam Gugino, final from you.
Yeah, I just want to say, watching the magic, which really is a magic, even though I've been here and I'm a part of it, to see Peter go into his heart and still become Peter, even role playing as a chiropractor, is just incredible. And yeah, it's a formula, Sean, and we have it here, and we demonstrate it, and we're able to teach it. So
thank you. Listen, thank you, Adam. Brilliant job. Happy Trajectory Tuesday. If this is the end, God bless. Unlock your influence as superpower. Lead leaders to make the world an even greater place. But it all starts with us every day. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.